solutions to equations using a graph. And like I said, it's just sort of an introduction to the chapter. It's technically not part of the chapter. And we're going to start with, obviously, linear equations. So suppose we wanted to find the solution to the equation 1/5 x plus 7/5 equals 2x minus 4. We could graph two functions using Desmos and see where they intersect. Bless you. We would get the two functions from each side of the equal sign as shown below. So the first function, function number 1, is going to be the 1/5 x plus 7/5. And function number 2 is going to be 2x minus 4. Technically, you could swap them. It wouldn't matter which one came first. Okay? All right. So your graph, when you graph it in Desmos, is going to look like this. Trust that this is, if you want to go in there later and plug them in, this is what you're going to get. And so it says our solution would be the x value of the point of intersection. So our answer would be 3, the x value that's right there, right? We got more sneezing coming? Yeah. Okay. So from the graph, how many solutions do you think there are to the equation? Just one, right? You got two lines, they intersect just once in this particular. There are two other options, right? What are the two other options? Here they're intersecting once. What are the two other options? For two lines. They don't intersect at all, right? Or they're on top of each other and they intersect infinite amount of times, okay? All right. It says, how can we tell for sure the function will not intersect more than once? In this case, they clearly don't have the same slope. They're clearly not the same line. So they're only going to intersect once. Or you could solve it algebraically, and that would also let you know that it's only going to intersect once. Any questions on that first part? That's like Algebra 1 type stuff. You okay now? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. In the bottom box, now we're going to jump to, let me make it straight. There we go. Quadratics. All right, so it says, suppose we wanted to find the solution to the equation x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 1. Again, we graph two functions using Desmos and see where they intersect. We would get the two functions from each side of the equal sign as shown below. So again, I picked the left side of the equal sign for function number 1, pick the right side of the equal sign for function number 2. But obviously you could swap them. And the x squared is going to give you this parabola, and the 1 is going to give you this line going this way, right? So in this case, our solution would be the x value of the point, in this case, points of intersection. So our answers with an S would be the x value here at this point of intersection, which is -4, and the x value here at this point of intersection, which would be the 0. So the -4 and the 0 would be the solutions. So from the graph, how many solutions do you think there are to this equation? This one has 2, okay? But it could also have none. If this line had been way down here, right, they would have no intersection. Could be just one. If it went right through the vertex, it would just be one point of intersection. So this one could have 0, 1, or 2. The only way it could have infinite would be what? If they were both the same parabola. Or, yeah. But in this case, you only have one quadratic, so that's not possible. All right? And you can tell that they do not intersect more than one time. You could solve it algebraically if you needed to. All right. Anybody still writing? All right. Let's look at the back, the top box on the back. It says linear equations with no solution. So the equation 1/4 x minus 2 equals 0.25x plus 1 has no solution. This means there is no value of x that will make the equation true. We can see this on a graph of this equation because the two functions do not intersect. This is shown below. Pick the equation or the side of the equation from the left for function number 1, the right side of the equal sign for function number 2. Plug it into Desmos, and what you're going to discover is that the 1/4 right here is the same as the decimal 0.25. So they have the same slopes. You compare those slopes, and they're not going to intersect. Okay, so from the graph, we can see the two lines are parallel and will never intersect. How can we verify from the two functions that the two lines will never intersect? So we compare their slopes. We know that those are equal, so there's no intersection. Okay, and then the last box says quadratic equations with no solutions. So the equation x squared equals negative 4 has no real solution. There are imaginary solutions to this equation. Again, this means that on the graph, this equation, the two functions do not intersect. So the left side of the equal sign is x squared. The right side of the equal sign is negative 4. So the graph of x squared is given, but they want you to draw in the line for y equals negative 4. So you go down to negative 4, you draw your line. Okay? So write one sentence below to justify why there is no solution to the equation x squared equals negative 4 using the graph. There is no real solution value that satisfies the equation that will get you a negative number, right? If you plug in 0, 0 squared is 0. You plug in negative 2, negative 2 squared is 4. You plug in positive 5, 5 squared is 25. What value could you plug in to get a negative number? There isn't one. There's some imaginary ones, but we're not in an imaginary plane.